Who lives in a pineapple under the sea?
SpongeBob
It's the almost 25-year-old series, first released in 1999 and has become Nickelodeon's cash cow that they just can't stop milking. Truly a nostalgic memory for anyone who was a child in the 2000s to today. Currently there are 4 SpongeBob films, more on that later, and 2 films on the way. A Sandy Central film released later this year and one just announced for December of next. Yeah, so turns out the Sandy Cheeks movie did already release. It has taken me 3 months to edit this. It's currently August 16th. Yeah, pulled me head up my arse, I guess. Recently there's been a lot of criticism about the show, more specifically like the new era of SpongeBob, that it's lazy and unoriginal and relying on like memes and well-known moments of the show to stay relevant almost. And I figured instead of showing relevancy through watching 6 days worth of content, because yes, there is enough SpongeBob to continuously watch for about 6 days straight, it's mental, I would watch the films, which in total is about, I want to say, 4.5 hours of content, if you don't do what I will discuss later. So my plan for this video is to summarise each film a little bit, talk about my thoughts, yada yada yada, and then do a little chat about nostalgia, because that is the core of this video's theme, SpongeBob and nostalgia. SpongeBob SquarePants movie, released in 2004, is a film where Plankton frames Mr. Krabs for stealing King Neptune's crown, so SpongeBob and Patrick are off on an adventure to clear Krabs' name and rescue the formula. With the help of David Hasselhoff Boat and Goofy Goober Rock, they save the day. I really enjoy this film. It's basically a 1.5 hour long SpongeBob episode. It does it right, like it has the clever humour of SpongeBob where adults can be like, haha, funny reference, and children can just be like, oh, that's funny, ha ha ha, but not really understand the meaning behind of it. And some of my favourite moments they do this are in the intro sequence, not the intro sequence, but like a little bit after it. SpongeBob comes on blowing bubbles instead of smoking a cigarette in the like Italian mob boss style like manager bit in his dream. And later on, SpongeBob and Patrick get absolutely hammered on ice cream sundaes. And that is a obvious reference to getting absolutely wasted on alcohol and stuff. So yeah, I'd say my thoughts on the 2004 release are generally positive. I mean, I don't know what else to say. It's very reminiscent of the SpongeBob that I grew up watching, even though I wasn't alive for the start of SpongeBob. I was born in 2005. This came out a couple of months before I was born. I feel like this film really encapsulates what a SpongeBob movie should be. And originally it was going to be the end of the whole thing. However, clearly that wasn't what happened.
Let me hear it. 25.
Okay, so this segment is going to talk about an interesting piece of research that I found whilst researching this video, and that was that in the gap between the first film and the next film in 2015, there was a drop in 2013, I believe the drop started, in releases on DVD in especially Region 1, so United States, all that. And that, I believe, could be to do with the lack of DVD becoming a significant medium to buy and watch things on due to the rise of streaming services. And you can pull me up on, ooh, relevance, objection and all that jazz. However, I just wanted to put this bit in as I personally found it interesting, and I think some of you guys might think it's interesting as well. So anyway, yeah, on to the next one.
My name is, Girly Teen Girl.
Plankton goes to steal the Krabby Patty secret formula, but the formula disappears into thin air. Everyone believes that Plankton is guilty, but knowing the truth, Plankton and SpongeBob are forced to work together to find it in the midst of an apocalypse.
Breaking news!
Right, got a theory. See, Bikini Bottom, it's behind me this whole video. Mr. Krabs is microdosing the citizens of Bikini Bottom on cocaine that's why they all go a bit mental with withdrawal symptoms. And why do they love Krabby Patties so much? What's in the formula, Krabs? Okay, so I didn't hate the film. I thought it was alright. I did enjoy Plankton kind of having to act as this like anti-hero, and the dynamic between him and SpongeBob, which we don't see a lot, was really great. And the time travel bit worked more than it should do, if that makes sense, because it was a Plankton storyline, because it involves like science, and Plankton's the sciencey villain guy. And yeah, that worked more than it probably should have. One of my main critiques with it is that it took almost an entire hour, so almost over half the film, to get into the gimmick of it, what it was advertised as, which is 3D SpongeBob as superheroes. Like, the superheroes don't even come in until the last, like, 20 minutes or so, and that is my main critique. And also, the film itself is just a bit bland. Like, it attempts the humour that SpongeBob made in its older episodes, but it just didn't land as well, if that makes sense. And yeah, it just didn't hit, if that could be because I did binge watch all of these in a row, but to me it just didn't hit. Maybe that's because I'm 18 and the target demographic is obviously like at the oldest 12, but yeah, for me it just didn't hit. However, I will say the twist was fucking cool. Like, oh my god, did not see that coming. It was very, very cool.
Chocolate!
Before I say anything or like summarize the film, I want to say that it's always summer in Bikini Bottom. Whoever wrote that hit so fucking hard. Oh my god, it was so good. Okay, now on to the Maisie being hate a bit. So, in this film, Plankton makes a plan to steal the Krabby Patty secret formula by getting SpongeBob out of the way. He gets Gary to the city of Atlantis, and SpongeBob and Patrick go to save him, pretty much. So Plankton just gets SpongeBob out of the way, everyone becomes a bit depressed, yada yada yada. It is what it is. And, well, I know I said earlier that I wasn't going to watch the episodes. However, I did watch episodes for this film because it wasn't a good representation of new SpongeBob, as it is a completely different animation style. It looks totally different, and there is nothing about this film that is quintessential SpongeBob, and other than, well, SpongeBob and the characters. And I feel like that really plays along to my statement earlier about how the films are becoming lazy and relying on it and a sort of a cash cow for Nickelodeon. However, I will say that even though I agree with that, the episodes show a different side that I'm going to discuss next, and I see how this would be appealing for kids. I am not in the demographic. However, I do feel like the slightly more adult jokes that adults would get are what made SpongeBob SpongeBob.
12 seconds later.
Yeah, I just didn't... Yeah. Okay, recent episode segment. So for this, I watched the first 2 episodes of season 13, as they were the nearest episodes that I could find, released near film 3. And watching the episodes, I noticed a few things. Firstly, I noticed the characters really aren't that different from how they're portrayed originally. And I will say the only issue I have is the severe dumbing down of Patrick. Like, he's always not been the brightest, but now he's just laughably stupid. Like, there is nothing going on in there. Nope. And he's almost too dumb. Like, he's too dumb. And secondly, I noticed that everything is more outlandish and exaggerated, which, yeah, SpongeBob has always been outlandish and exaggerated, but this is to a point where it's at the detriment of the series itself, and that is not a good thing in my opinion. And thirdly, I noticed that there's more episodes centred around all the other characters, not just SpongeBob, whereas in the earlier episodes they focus more on SpongeBob in the majority of the episodes. I mean, he is the title character, but it feels more fleshed out with everyone else, if that makes sense. And I really like it, and I fully welcome that change. Like, the side characters help aid the show so much, and I just really liked it. Like, I liked how different it was. Like, I even watched an episode where SpongeBob didn't even feature at all. Like, that's mad to me, but I did actually really enjoy that. Finally, this is what I meant when I was talking about film 4. In 2022, Pasta Dash Creations released a recreation of the SpongeBob SquarePants movie in memory of Steven Hillenburg, the creator of SpongeBob, who unfortunately passed away in 2018. It is a beautiful reimagination, and it's just a telling of how much people truly care for the series as a whole and the 2004 film. The recreation does fall under parody law, and I have linked it in the description below. If you love the 2004 film, I would really recommend checking it out, supporting the artists behind it. It is a beautiful recreation, and for them to bring it all together, amazing work, amazing.
I'll take it easy when I'm dead!
Now onto the nostalgia bit of the video, the second half of the title. For this bit, I wanted to do a bit more of like a more solemn, more grounded bit, because SpongeBob itself is very like wacky and silly, and well, we're all growing up, and so we hold a candle to what SpongeBob was for us, with this like mystical, like, oh my god, this is the greatest thing ever. And we look at the new stuff as adults and it's different to what we saw as kids, and we don't realise that this isn't for us. It's been adapted and changed for kids of the new generation, and I feel like, yeah, it's sad because something that we love has changed. However, the same kids are going to be experiencing the love we had just now and current. And nostalgia's a weird thing, because people say that, oh, they're relying on old jokes and memes. Well, yeah, they've done what they're bringing. Those in have brought older watchers to come back and watch the new episodes. So despite them not liking it as much, it's bringing them back, it's bringing them viewership. And yeah, I'm not going to say, ooh, we fell into a trap, no, because that's what it was intended to do, in my opinion. It brought people into watching it, and into watching it again, and in like watching it with kids, because some of the people who watched it in like the 1999 when it first started will have kids now and are watching it with those kids. And SpongeBob is generational at this point, and just because each generation is so different, it's changed to be a new generation. And I know change is scary, and especially with something that is so beloved like SpongeBob, but I think we can work to enjoy this change, if that makes any sense at all to anyone, because this is such a fun, special show. Like, it's SpongeBob, it's fun, it's joyous, and all the other episodes are available online, and you don't even have to watch the new thing. You can simply reminisce on episodes from your childhood. And that's what's so special, is that it's created a community. And whilst now I do think that Nickelodeon are almost beating it to the bush with all the new sequels and new films, it's getting people to enjoy cinema again, and it's getting kids to go and watch cinema and watch films, which is something that I love. And I know that this has ended on a bit of a weird, solemn note, however, I just want to close it with this. Things will change over the course of a period of time. That's natural. We talk about Flanderization with Family Guy and obviously The Simpsons, but this unfortunately will affect the things we loved as kids if they're still running today. Like SpongeBob is almost 25 years old, and in the next, if it keeps running, in the next 10 or so years, it'll be a new generation of kids and a new generation of adults looking back and being like, ah, that's changed, that's different to what I watched. And I feel like that's just the cycle of culture, because everyone, like, for example, I was like the end of Vine, like that's when I was more on the internet and stuff, and I still find those humorous. However, I don't particularly like what like Gen Alpha and all that find funny and entertaining, and that's okay. We all have different humour, we're all human, and that is okay. And so I just wanted to close this out with a little solemn note and say it's okay, things change, and despite me not enjoying newer SpongeBob as much as I enjoyed old SpongeBob, I think that's okay, because there are people who are my age watching the new episode, who were my age when I was watching it, watching the new episodes and feeling exactly how I felt, which was just enjoyment. And that's the main thing with entertainment. It's supposed to entertain and be enjoyed. So yeah, that's it for today's video. I hope you stuck around through this little bit, like, more boring-ish bit at the end. And yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye! Today's bit is genuinely, like, I don't have any, like, fun bit, but today's bit is genuinely Maisie suffers in May heat.